All right, well, greetings, everybody. This is Alex Eames from the Coast Guard Academy Admissions Office, and this is the Coast Guard Academy Admissions Partner Orientation video. So if you are watching this video, you're likely one of our newer admissions partner members. However, we do have with us today some of our veteran folks and a mix of experiences, so it's really great to see them on board as well. As you can see there, our shining faces, both mine, Associate Director for Volunteer Programs, Alex Eames, class of 2009 of the Great Coast Guard Academy. Our contact information there, and then our volunteer program support, the fantastic Miss Megan Grills, and her contact information below her. What I'll do is for the video portion, I'm actually going to go off video. I'll come back on at the end of the presentation so that the PowerPoint slides are clear and available for everybody. In this presentation, what we'll go ahead and cover are the admissions partner basics, which include the background of the program, skills and knowledge base information so that folks can go out and successfully perform their job as a volunteer or their volunteer role as an admissions partner. So I want to welcome our new member to the webinar today, Shelly Heaney. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll start with some partner basics in a slide or two. We'll go into the information about the program, talk about our information and outreach missions, including interviews and appointment presentations, and then talk a little bit about speaking with students. So the things I want to convey and touch on with our admissions partners is that our mission, first and foremost, is information dissemination. So it's talking to students, it's talking to schools, it's talking with all sorts of community-based organizations, and really getting the word and the information about the Coast Guard Academy out into the community to provide those opportunities to as diverse a candidate pool as possible, both geographically speaking, whether it's also from or cities or rural or country, wherever it may be. We want the information of the Coast Guard out there for high achieving students who show academic success and leadership to come and apply for our academy. So the other points we like to put out there too are the differences between us and the other federal service academies. So we talk a lot about service culture when we were out on the road recruiting students. And with what you'll notice is that each service has its own service culture. I encourage you, if you have not ever interacted with someone from other services, to go ahead and try to meet those folks on active duty and just talk to them a little bit about what they do. Or if you have not met active duty Coast Guard members, to go out and do the same. And you'll start to see what I mean by service culture and how each service is unique. The next is quality of life. So that can be boiled down to one question, and kind of that question would be, what war do you want to fight? So folks might say, like, well, what do you mean? The Coast Guard doesn't fight in any wars. And you say, well, what about the war on drugs? Or what about going out into a hurricane, fighting the elements? What about search and rescue cases and the fight against time to get on scene somewhere successfully so that you can successfully rescue someone? Or what about the war on illegal polluting or illegal fishing? Quality of life can boil down to a few things in the Coast Guard, and that may be the length of your patrols or where you're stationed. I had the opportunity to be stationed in some amazing places such as Virginia Beach, Virginia, Key West, Florida, Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. I'm back up here at my alma mater at the Coast Guard Academy. I had many friends in the other services who would often disappear for 6 months to a year at a time for patrols, while our patrols were taking us down south off of South America, into the Caribbean, doing narcotics actions, doing search and rescue, law enforcement. So the quality of life piece is very important. And then last, when you're talking to students, a call to action is necessary. So every single interaction with a student or an applicant should end with a call to action. So when you finish a conversation, if you just were to end it like that and say, okay, well, very nice to meet you, have a great day, that student may walk away and completely forget anything that you just told them about the academy. And the really important thing there is to kind of ask them questions, see where they are in the process, what their thoughts are on a career, on a college opportunity, on a military opportunity, and then end it with a call to action. So maybe you find out that they are already an applicant, or maybe you find out that they know nothing about the Academy. If they don't know nothing about the Academy, your call to action is going to say, okay, why don't you pull out your phone and write this down, or pull out a piece of paper. Tonight, I want you to go and visit www.uscga.edu, our Coast Guard Academy website, and I want you to create an account. That's it. All you need to do is create an account tonight. That's it. Get them to write it down. That improves the chances that they will actually follow through on that action. If they are someone who's already submitted an application, maybe it's, hey, okay, tonight I'd like you to go back and send an email to your admissions officer, telling your admissions officer that you met me, kind of relaying our conversation and providing them an update on any milestone achievements. So those are call to actions that really result in some great returns on that conversation. A little background on the Admissions Partner Program. The program was formed in the 1930s as the Auxiliary Volunteer Program. It was a career counselor program at the time, and it was formed as the first volunteer workforce for the Coast Guard Academy Admissions Office. It was primarily responsible for the Academy Introduction Mission, AIM, and additional recruiting and outreach missions. Throughout our existence, though, this program has evolved, and in 2006, we went through a bit of a study that then restructured the program into what it is today as the Academy Admissions Partner Program. We now currently are up to 921 admissions partners. That is as of today. Check the most recent stats for us. We are currently 26% female representation and 22% underrepresented minority representation in our volunteer corps. 49% of us are alumni, 38% are active duty reservists, 25% auxiliary, 22% parents. You notice that adds up to more than 100%. That is okay, because some of these folks fill multiple roles. Some are active duty and alumni. Some are auxiliary retired Coast Guards. Some are parents and also alumni. So we have a great cohort, and we represent 67 state and regional coordinators and representation in nearly every single U.S. state and U.S. territory. The Dakotas currently are covered by just one person, but we have representation across the country, and I'll show you a map in a little bit. We have 2 national interview coordinators. Not listed here also is one auxiliary branch chief, who's our auxiliary liaison currently. That information will have an update in our next orientation as well. And selections for the Admissions Partner Program are made on a holistic and needs-based, usually and typically geographic needs-based purpose. So let's say currently, and you'll see a little bit, Florida has nearly 100 admissions partners there, while in Iowa we may have 4 or 5. So always looking to kind of expand where our outreach is lacking, and to help offset our active duty staff in the office who are paid admissions officers, and that's 6 members. Last but not least, under the umbrella of this admissions partner program exists AMOT. That's the Academy Minority Outreach Team, a wonderful group of diverse representation, both majority and minority representation there, and they are tremendous in helping us outreach with students, recruit students, and then mentor those same students. So developing those relationships on professional level throughout their time as a cadet, not only ensuring that they get into the academy successfully, if that is that student's destiny, but also to graduate successfully if they are to become an ensign in the Coast Guard. So here's a little layout of our structure so far and where we are. And as like I mentioned, Florida with nearly 100 admissions partners, California 87, and where we find our most admissions partner representation is also in the states where we get our most applicants. So Maryland, Virginia, Florida, Texas, California, Connecticut a little bit there. New York is a big applicant state for us. This is because this is where Coast Guard operations are most prevalent. This is because this is where Coast Guard alumni get stationed. This is because these states are typically, long coastlines with an active participation or representation of the Coast Guard there in the state. So, or law enforcement or other military. So, this is just a little idea of where we are in the country. and really around the world. So, how do you get started? Well, first, after you've already passed your test and you've cleared your background check, you are going to get outfitted by our office. You're going to receive an admissions partner name tag. And for the auxiliary uniform, this would also be your auxiliary. It could be your name badge as well. You will get an admissions partner shirt, which is the proper uniform. If you see the picture there in the lower right-hand corner, that is one of our proud admissions partners sporting our Academy Admissions Partner polo shirt and khaki pants. You will receive a welcome aboard package. You will receive a number of admissions partner materials. We do have tablecloths upon request available. We have tabletop displays also upon request available. And then the admissions travel piece, which is the single most important piece of information that you can take to a college fair. It answers many basic questions, has great visual representation, and then has that little pop-out card in the back of it that students can fill out and send in with no fee. Just pop it right in the mail. Optional as well, and upon request, is a DVD. We are working on a professional PowerPoint at the moment, so stand by on that, admissions partners. And then you are also able to order materials from our JAD site. There is the URL for you right there, which is also available in your Bears Den account. And we will be switching to a new resource very soon in March of 2019. So stand by for changes on that as well. We'll make sure that you get the information. And then the first set of materials is ordered for you. So you won't have to immediately run in there and order something. You'll get stuff in the mail. You can figure it out. You can see what works best for you. And then we'll go ahead and from there, and you're welcome to put in additional orders as needed. The next step would be to get in touch. So for our new admissions partners, if you have not done so already, you'll want to meet us, obviously, myself and Miss Megan Grills. That's the Admissions Volunteer Programs Coordinators here in the admissions office in New London, Connecticut. You'll then want to meet your regional admissions officer, that is the active duty 01 through 03. So that's ensign, lieutenant JG, or lieutenants who are out there on the road and reading files here in the office, active duty, paid by the admissions staff, who you are helping as a volunteer to go out and meet with students. You want to meet your state and regional coordinator, not necessarily face-to-face, but at least a phone call or an email to let them know that, hey, I'm here in the region, and oftentimes our state and regional coordinators are very good with initiating contact. So they'll be the first ones to reach out to you, and their lists of contact information can be found in the documents section of your Bears Den portal, and we'll cover that in just a minute. You'll also want to reach out and meet those interview coordinators, currently Mr. Walt Hansen of Tennessee and Ms. Paula Smith of Alaska. Our national coordinators help to coordinate all those interviews. So we are now conducting somewhat mandatory interviews for those students that we've identified. And that will probably add up to about 800 interviews this year, which is more than twice the amount we've ever conducted in the past. So excited about that opportunity right there. AIM planning staff are another group of folks you want to reach out to because the AIM mission is something that partners oftentimes support. We're aiming to bring, no pun intended, 16 to 18 admissions partners to the AIM program every summer for each week of the program. So that's 3 weeks. So that comes out, to about 48 to 54 admissions partners every week. So that is the goal there. And then last but not least, schools and students. So you are the expert in your local area. You know where to go. You know where the schools are. Maybe you graduated from one of those schools. Maybe your students went to one of those schools. So you'll want to reach out, meet those schools, let them know that, hey, you are an admissions representative of the Coast Guard Academy, which is one of the 5 federal service academies. We offer an undergraduate science degree. It is free tuition, often valued at around $400,000. So this is a tremendous opportunity for those top 25% of students in those schools, and that is really important as far as our messaging with schools and students, and then answering any other questions or putting those folks in touch with our office. All right, so getting informed is your next step. So after you've gotten in touch, you want to get informed. You want to know all the best information, and that starts with admissions partner training, such as what you're listening to right now and viewing on your screen. Next, you're going to want to get resourced up. So you're going to want to find out all about the coastguardacademy.edu website. Go on there, explore. It is a fantastic website, completely revamped, completely overhauled. Go in and check it out. And then our website, uscga.edu/partners, has great history on the program. We'll be adding some new things here in the near future. And then next, your Bears Den account, that is the partnered portal. YouTube training videos, I send those out on a pretty regular basis, typically on a month or bi-monthly basis. You'll want to do some research on your local schools or reference the provided CGA school list that's given to state coordinators. You'll want to make congressional office introductions. Obviously, coordinate all these things with your state or regional coordinator and your admissions officer. Perhaps someone else has already gone to make those introductions, but get to know your congressman, get to know your representative or your congresswoman, your senator. Make sure that you get into their office, let their staff know that you represent the Coast Guard Academy. Find out if we're on their website. It is amazing how many congressional websites the Coast Guard Academy does not appear on, while maybe the big D1 academies do. So, get on there, make sure that we are represented. And then, of course, always ask questions. It's the most important thing. We are very good to respond, and our office aims to get you about a 24-hour turnaround, if not instantly, on any question you ask. All right, so I wanted to provide some examples of what our website is and where you'll find your Bears Den login. So this is www.uscga.edu. It's a little screenshot I took here of our home screen. Lots of great available information here, and across the top you see about, academics, admissions, athletics, cadet life, and mission, next to a magnifying glass and an X. That X is often in the appearance of 3 horizontal stacked bars. If you click that X, this menu appears. It says request information, visit, apply, Academy News, Bears Den login, parents, alumni, and the Tall Ship Eagle. There, right smack dab in the center, is your Bears Den login. So you're going to want to head there and log into your account and make sure that you are familiar with its setup, which looks like this. So this is in the Bears Den account. You'll see that you can select by month things to do on a monthly basis. You can submit summaries such as, search for events, which brings up the calendar. You can look up your events, which includes events that you've been invited to. You can submit event summaries from here, submit interview summaries, something on the right-hand column there under FAQs, and partner is the partner documents. So partner documents is very important. This is where you're going to access all sorts of important information on our program, on students, on the admissions partner coordinators, and then below that, learning about news and events. In addition to all this information, you'll also receive regular communications from me, and then a monthly newsletter as well. So the newsletter will come to you from Constant Contact. You will need to provide us other than a .mil mailing address if you want to receive those newsletters, but I've been told they're very informative, they're helpful, they're fun, so go ahead and provide us that information and we will get those to you on a monthly basis. Lastly, you're going to want to get involved. All right, so what does that mean? What can I do as an admissions partner? Well, we need folks to go out and conduct high school visits. We need folks to not only meet with students in high school visits or do a mix of maybe planned visits of arranged student one-on-one or small group discussions, or the hallway or cafeteria, which are a little less productive, but also meet with guidance counselors and let them know that you're a local resource. You're going to want to attend college fairs or be a Coast Guard Academy representative at an auxiliary or Coast Guard event, or attend Congressional Service Academy events, which are huge because those targets of interest come to us. Those students with the academics and the achievement and the leadership all come to those congressional events, and the Congressional Office does all the legwork of getting students to you. You can get involved in the interview process or the appointment presentation. Those are 2 very important things that you can help us with. I already mentioned a little bit about the interview process. The process this year is new in that we are identifying and selecting the students that we wish to interview if we need additional information to make an admissions decision. In addition to that, appointment presentations are another both great way to feel good about the work you're doing. You get to present the student with a life-changing appointment, but also it's a great recruitment opportunity because you get to present the student with a life-changing opportunity in front of all of their peers and their community and their school. So that's very important and another great part of being an admissions partner. Participating in admissions workshops is something that's fun. We oftentimes travel around the country and set up workshops. For instance, we've got a great workshop coming up this fall, November 1st in Seattle, Washington, and again November 10th in Houston, Texas. I just mentioned those because those are two that I'm attending, but if you visit the calendar of campus events, you'll find workshops all over the country. And last but not least, Eagle events. So everyone loves the Tall Ship Eagle. It's our sailing vessel. It's a really great opportunity to get on board, both yourself and for students that you're working with. And it just really sells this training program. I think in one of the next coming summers, it might be this summer, Eagle is in fact going to Europe. So there you go. There's another chance to sell a great opportunity for students. We provide Hobsons and calendar updates on a fairly regular basis. So provide us information as students, provide us information of events that you are going to do. If we don't know about it, we want to definitely get it onto our calendar. And if we do know about it, if it is on our calendar, we want to know that you are going to be participating. All right, so why is this important? Well, here are all the things that we've done over the years, starting in 2013 to 2014, and this only goes back to that year because this is when we officially started using the Hobsons application system online and started documenting this stuff electronically. So this is the data that I have to work with. So in 2013, 2014, this program completed an estimated 919 events. And by this last recruiting cycle, 17 to 18, we were up to 1,387. So we will go ahead and continue with these events. And sorry if there is any static in the microphone. I hope that it is okay for everybody. So we've seen great progress, and this is the impact that our admissions partners have in this office. Currently for this year, just to give you an update on where we stand as of October 10th from the July start, but also all activities for 2018. You can see there that we are well ahead of where we typically are around this time of year as far as college fairs, all the way through applicant interviews and CGA outreach events, through our influx and outflux of admissions partners and how many states we have represented. That includes U.S. territories. And then down there in partner activity totals, totaling up our event length and hours, over 3,300 hours of volunteer service conducted by our volunteers, traveling more than 48,000 miles to conduct these events. And many events conducted online, using video teleconference or phone calls, outreaching at these events to students, the population at these events of over 150,000 with individual outreach in close or a little bit over 10,000. So it's just really tremendous outreach here with folks. And dollars saved to our office, estimated at $22 per service, is over $73,000 so far in 2018. So last but not least, we want you to report your activity. So you can learn more on how to report this activity at the Academy Partners website using our event form, our interview forms, outreaching to myself or Ms. Megan Grills. And for auxiliary members who are new to the program, you're going to want to get into the Aux data system and enter your information under that 90 or 90 alpha work code. So make sure you report your activity. If you don't report it, we don't know that you did it, and we want to make sure that you get recognized for your great volunteer work. And that's all I have. So what I'll do is I will bring up my video again, and I am happy to take any questions now at the end of the presentation, anything that I can help to clarify, anything that I can help to answer as far as application process, academy procedures, cadet life, life as an officer, life as a civilian. I want to make sure that everyone leaves with their questions answered. And we have about 4 more minutes or so. At that point, folks are welcome to sign off at will, and I will stick around for any additional questions. So it looks like we have someone writing something. And I just want to give a little background on myself. I did mention I'm a 2009 graduate. I was a marine and environmental science major here at the Academy. I played club lacrosse. I boxed on the club team. I spent 4 years after graduation at sea, 2 of those on the Great Coast Guard Cutter Bear out of Portsmouth, Virginia. About a year and a half on a patrol boat out of Key West, Florida. A little under a year on a patrol boat out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. And 4 years in the admissions office working as an admissions officer, campus programs, AIM project officer. Got out of the Coast Guard in 2017 and became a civilian staff member here as the associate director for volunteer programs. So really happy to be here today. All right, so Mr. Murphy asks, Mr. Eames, how do we document high school visits and high school visits where we just meet with the guidance counselor but not students? All right, so a meeting with guidance counselors and students is essentially seen as the same thing from an event summary perspective. I know that in the event summary itself, it asks how many students were present, but you can essentially write 1 and 1 for the one guidance counselor and 1 interaction, and then just document in the summary itself that this was a meeting with the guidance counselors, not with the students. So we'll treat the data a little bit the same, but that's the best way to do it. So the event summary form, filling it out for that particular high school, that date, that time, and then annotating that you met with one person out of 1 out of 1, and that they were the guidance counselor instead of the student. So that would be very helpful. Thank you, Mr. Murphy, for asking the question. Any other questions out there? All right, so it looks like we're closing in on our 16:30 Eastern Standard Time to wrap up this presentation. I appreciate everyone's participation, and if you would be so willing, I would love any feedback or any comments, suggestions for future trainings. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining the Admissions Partner Program. We love having you on our team. We want to get you involved. We want you to be active, and please, don't hesitate to reach out to the admissions office with any questions whatsoever, and have a great Coast Guard day.